Okay. So talking about bubbles, which goes hand in hand with social distancing, I wanted to ask you, is the COVID era potentially the best era to find a significant other?
Well, it's a double-edged sword, right? Like, it's probably one of the best eras to like look good because you really don't have to do all that much. You know what I mean? Like you're not really like going out. You could do something really kind of like romantic or old school, like send a fucking postcard or like do a Zoom thing where you got, the lights all turned down and you put on a Matthew McConaughey rom-com or something like that. And you get a little freaky over the lens, which is kind of like a little bit enticing, but you're probably not getting that much action, like any real action. You could do some of the like more strange, hanky-panky over the devices, but you're probably not really gonna get any significant stuff unless you're both saying, let's take a chance.
Let's mix these bubbles together.
Let's mix a couple bubbles. My bubbles, your top bubbles.
Why don't your bubbles come over and meet my bubbles, and we could be bubbles?
Yeah,
shit, we could do this all night.
And just blast a couple bubbles.
Oh yeah, pop them bubbles. Yeah. No, but check it out. Check it out. But what if, like, forget about like you're already in a relationship. All right. So imagine, and this, I'm sure there's a ton of people here that are saying, "What the fuck, man? I wanted to meet someone. Like it was my turn to get a boyfriend or girlfriend this year, right? Like they're like, I was going out there, I was doing the Tinders, this and that. It's not the same anymore. You can't meet anybody. But maybe the physical, which is not available, is an advantage. Because think about all the things you have to do when you're going on a date in person. You got to look sharp, right? You got to smell nice. You got to check your breath, right? Maybe that day you're very farty and you just can't help it. You're holding it in and you're at dinner. You're like, I just want to fart so hard right now, man. You know what I mean? And then what happens later? Maybe on the second date, right? You got to hug in, you get a kiss in, this and that. And the thing, what happens with a lot of relationships, I mean, I'm just generalizing here, but like by third, fourth, fifth date, like most people are having sex with each other, right? I think if they've liked each other enough, and like that's its own thing already. But what happens is like they might not really know each other just yet, right? So they're like, we're banging, but I'm not sure if I like her, and then it fizzles out. On the flip now, though, you can have like a year and a half with somebody on Zoom calls every night. You get to know them, and then you're just kind of like, all right, all we got to do is the dance, and I don't know. Doesn't look like that vaccine's coming. Well,
which is actually probably more successful for longevity. You know what I mean? Because more often than not, to your point, people, pre-COVID era, people would link up, do the no pants dance, and then be like, we're dating now.
Yeah.
And then 6 months later, they're like, I fucking hate you.
Yeah, you suck.
Like I realize that you're human garbage, and I want nothing to do with you ever again. And then you have to block them on all these social things and whatever, this and that. Here, you have to get to know somebody and be like, so what do you like? You don't usually figure out what somebody likes until like the fourth bang.
And even then, like that's
like
after the fifth bang, you basically just know like what food they like or they're allergic to, and maybe like what are their favorite TV shows in this moment, right? So like you don't really know much about them. Maybe if they're in school or what their work is, and you're like, whatever. So, but you don't really know them. But like the opportunity here is like maybe you just like meet this girl or boy, and you're like, do you want to just get this over with? You hop on a Zoom and you just show them your wiener and they show you theirs. And then you're like, all right, well, I can work with that. I can work with that. So like, let's get to know each other. And maybe, just maybe, it's fucking the most fire relationship ever that you might actually just keep on Zoom for life.
Yeah. You might decide to be like, it's like what do you call it? Like those Sims relationships or something. You're like, if I meet you in person, I am gonna just fucking strangle you. But like, I like what's going on here now because, as you said, it's way more like relaxed. You know why? Because as you said, you're having this conversation, you're doing this, that, and the other. You want to go do a seam ripper on your pantaloons. You just hit the mute button and you let it rip. It's not like back in the day when, you know, probably both men and women were holding in a massive fart since you picked them up at 6:30 at night to go to dinner. Like this, you're kind of free to do whatever the fuck you want. You could wear no pants. You could wear a wife beater. You could do this and that. Oh, my camera's not working, even though you just took in your device to take a fucking dump. They don't know what the hell you're doing. You just, you know, give me 2 seconds or whatever. You can even doll up your place and make it look, as I said.
You should get a green screen. You can get a green screen and you're like, hey, yo, baby, where you want to go tonight? I'll take you anywhere tonight. You get a green screen, Italy, France, the Amazon. You just hit up the green screen. You guys every night. It might be the most fun relationship possible. Now, I say this with a caveat that I've been in a relationship off of Zoom for a long time. And I understand that there's some people that have not, and maybe it's probably more difficult than we're making it out to be, but keep an open mind, folks.
I agree, because I think that there's a way, to your point, not even just with a green screen to be like, yo, I'm going to take you wherever you want to go. Yeah. But you could actually, because what is social media truly all about? Making yourself look fucking sick, right?
Sure.
If you have your setup and you tell the person on the opposite end of it, listen, like, you know, I got my desktop and blah, blah. So, you know, maybe I'm not as mobile, like, you know, that's your station, so to speak. You compile everything that you have in your house that's super fucking sick behind you, and they can see it in the view. Mm-hmm. They're going to be like, this guy's rad. He's got a hockey stick. He's got a nice painting. He's got a cool road bike. Yeah. He's got, some sneakers and a Backstreet Boys poster hanging in the back. Word. I really like this dude. Where it turns out if you spread that across his whole apartment, this guy just totally looks like a loser who didn't fill in anything. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like if you took a look at my apartment when I was in university, it was a mattress on the ground, and that was it.
A couple of tuna cans in the corner.
I think I had like 4 dishes just because I was like, I'm not washing anything.
Yeah. You're fucking eating the piece of cheese on the mouse trap. You know what I mean? Because you're so fucking broke, man. Those are hilarious times. But like, who cares, right? And like, everyone's so used to fronting, so you might as well just front.
Well, that's the whole thing about it. But I guess one of the biggest things that would be super fucked up, and maybe this goes with, if you are having a super good like relationship, a Zoom relationship or whatever, is getting ghosted. Like you're expecting your Friday night big online thingamabobber, and then
hello,
no fucking answer. What are you gonna do? Because you can't. Then how do you?
You got stood up on a Zoom.
You got stood up in a Zoom, and how do you?
You got dropped.
Very bad network.
Oh, very bad network.
You just your Wi-Fi is out. But I mean, how do you sort of reconcile with that? You know, if the person just goes dark, and because they're like on the opposite end, you decided to show the goods off via Zoom, and it was a cold day, and they're just like, no thanks. I'll go swipe a few more times and see what else I got out there.
Well, I guess where we're going with this, and we can finish here, is like, how do you break up with someone on Zoom? I guess you just have to.
You just turn off your computer.
You just keep getting dropped calls, and you're like, I guess it just wasn't working out.
I think we're through. I guess you just don't even fucking answer it straight up. You're just like, how can you break up with someone if you just never talk to them again?
Yeah, me and my connection decided that we're through.